when you're in the market for a new van, one of the many considerations that you might want to check out is colour. The current trend is for dark caravans, but maybe you might want to put a bit more thought into that. Trends die off, but temperature doesn't. Feel the difference. That is actually quite warm down there on the black, and this is kind of largely neutral. Certainly not cool, but it's got no warmth in it whatsoever. So the significance is black over here 56, and the white just above it 43. So there's a significant difference in the heat transfer. And nowadays, unless you've got a completely composite frameless van, which is what Jayco did, don't know whether they still do, whereas this thing's basically just a wall of polystyrene. There's no frame in it whatsoever, so the heat transfer is going to be virtually nothing. But with an aluminium frame van, for example, aluminium is a great conductor of heat, and anything that's touching that outside wall, you're talking about 3 or 4 mil, if that heats up, which it will, it's going to transfer some of that heat into that aluminium frame. It's going to go straight through that frame, and it's going to touch the inside skin, and a certain amount of that heat is going to transfer inside. You can't stop that. So I don't know, from my personal perspective, I'd prefer to have a van that is, say, at the moment what we're talking about now, 40 degrees. The whole van is 40 degrees to touch on the outside. I would prefer that over a van that was 50 degrees, because the chances of that heat transferring inside is pretty good. Now, I'm standing up here on the arms of my chair. Yeah, so you might actually see me, so I'll do a mischief to myself. But so here's the awning material, which is sort of a, I don't know whether you can pick it up across there. It goes grey into white up the awning. So even a grey awning is reading 53 degrees. And if we go up here to the white, see 41. So it's 10 degrees. So it's a 10-degree difference just in that awning material. So if you've got a dark awning, or particularly a black awning, this thing's just going to be an absolute heat magnet. So at the moment, underneath 41 degrees, which is the same as on top, or they're close enough. And on that grey area, I'll turn the camera around, where the grey area is, 57.8 degrees in this area here. That is hot. And if we go up here to the white, it's just barely warm. So if you were sitting, so it's quite warm today here, and we're in direct sunlight. If we were sitting underneath a black awning, that thing would damn near be unbearable. It'd be like a bloody radiator. So yeah, just bearing in mind what different colours are going to do when you select your van. Might not be current, might not be trendy, but I'll tell you what, it's a hell of a lot more practical. I'm heading to the factory through the burbs, where I've got a couple of insulated water jugs sitting in my freezer angle at about -9, and the experiment is that I've painted one of those water jugs. They're identical. I've painted one of them white and I've painted one of them black, and I'm going to do an experiment. It's about 31 or 32 degrees today, so I'm going to put the lids on, seal them all up, and sit them outside in the sun. And the black one will absolutely absorb more heat. There's no question about that. But I'm just interested to see just how much of that heat will transfer inside the water jug and have an effect on the frozen water that's inside. And the easiest measurement of that, the reason why I'm using the water jugs and the frozen water, is because once I've left them outside for a period of time, if extra heat is transferred in the black one, then more water will pour out of it when I get back to it later on this afternoon. And just how much extra water pours out of it will be a bit of an indication as to how much heat transfers from black in comparison to white. And the jugs are obviously designed to protect the contents from the ambient heat. That's what an insulated jug or an esky or whatever it is that you've got does. So just being identical both jugs being identical, which they were originally blue, in every aspect other than the paint on the outside, should give me a fairly good indication of the effects of colour. One more aspect of colour that I've taken into account, and this is based on my experience in the industry that I work in, where adhesives have failed across an area of my industry and sent a number of the players in that part of the industry broke or scrambling for a solution that created a widespread problem, and as a result of that a number of them went broke. Now, as far as colour goes in a caravan, I'm aware that through dealing with a number of caravan manufacturers, just in our research to find the right caravan for us, I'm aware of wall delamination resulting from other than temperature that I'm aware of. But does temperature play a part in it? Absolutely it does. Every adhesive has working limits, and every adhesive that's used in any kind of industry needs to be appropriate for that purpose. And as far as temperature goes, it does have an effect on it. If it's a hotter wall over a long period of time, is that going to adversely affect the adhesive that's holding the wall together? Possibly. In my mind, possibly. And that can then have a catastrophic effect. A lot of caravans sitting out in the sun, in the hot sun, will, for example, the roofs will start to move because they expand and contract, and they'll buckle and bubble and move about. And a lot of the manufacturers don't fix their roof materials down for that reason, because it will then create a bigger problem. So it will move, so it's fixed at the ends and the sides and through the roof penetrations like hatches and air conditioners and stuff like that. But the rest of the roof will be just sitting there. The skin will just be sitting there, so it can actually move around. On the walls, not so much, because the walls are glued to the frame or the substrate or whatever it is, but those different materials expand and contract at different rates. Add a little bit of excess temperature to that, and that movement, vibration, corrugations, just driving down the road. Is there a chance that product may fail? Absolutely. Is that a real possibility? Absolutely. Is it going to happen? Who knows? I don't know. But when I add up all of this stuff about what that black caravan is going to do as opposed to a white caravan, as colour extremes would go, it's going to be hotter. It's going to the caravan itself is going to be hotter. The inside's going to be warmer. The air conditioner's going to work harder, and blah blah blah, and it goes on and on and on. And on top of that, there is also a very real possibility that the adhesives are used in the manufacture of those products may over time lose their effectiveness, and the performance of that product may fail. And is it, in my mind, worth the risk? For me and my purchasing experience, no, it's not. I'm not prepared to take that chance. In fact, I just want to do everything that I can to basically ensure that I'm going to get the best possible outcome. Whether that works for me or not, I don't know. But if I went the other way, do I think that I'm increasing my chances of failure? Yeah, I do. And for the sake of fashion, yeah, I don't know. Is it worth taking that chance? For me, it's not. So I'm at the factory. I've bought two identical water jugs, and I've painted one white and I've painted one black, and I've put them in the in my angle about probably, I think 2 days ago, just on 2 days ago, and they've been sitting at -15 inside the angle, and I've filled them up with water, so they're now frozen, and they're rock hard. So one's black, one's white. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit them outside in the sun and just see what sort of an effect sun has on two identical water containers that contain frozen water, and whether the black one absorbs more heat than the white one, and whether, which it will do, there's no question about that, but whether that heat will somehow find its way into a device that is designed to keep the ambient temperature outside away from the contents of the water jug. And this is not a direct comparison to a caravan, quite obviously, unless you were like Ant-Man or something. You're not going to live in an esky, of course, but it'll give you some idea as to, or give me some idea as well, as to the extent of which heat will penetrate into the inside of these water containers, and give some kind of a comparison in relation to the heat transfer, white caravan, black caravan, white water jug, black water jug, and just to see how that goes. So I've set the two jugs up in my factory backyard laboratory, and so the sun's going to come over, that's west, so the sun's going to head over toward, sorry, that's east I should say, sun's going to head over toward this direction to the west, quite obviously, it's normally what happens. And so they're going to be in sun all day. It's going to be about 30, I think 31, 32 here, and I'll come back later on this afternoon and check and see how they're gone. Right, so I'm just about to lock up. Thought I'd come out with the thermo gun and just have a quick check. They've been sitting out in the sun now for about maybe less than 10 minutes. Anyway, I'll check the temperature. So the white one, the top of the white one's 23 degrees and the top of the black one is 35, and on the sides the white one's 27 and the black one is 49. They've been sitting out in the sun for, oh yeah, you can feel the difference. That's cool. White one's cool, black one's hot. Same with the top, that's actually cold, top of the white one, and the black one's warm. So yeah, it'll be a good experiment. Well, I've just got back. It's now, hang on, checking the watch. It's now about a bit after 4, quarter past 4 or something in the afternoon, which is a little bit later than I expected to get back, and it's significantly hotter. So anyway, we'll have a test of the containers themselves. 43 on the white and 68 on the black. Holy crap. So white on the lid, 41 and 69 on the lid of the black one. I don't know, we'll just have to open them up and just see how much ice is still left in them. Right, I'm just going to tip out how much water will actually come out of each of the containers, and that should indicate how much ice is still left in there. So in a roundabout way, how much of the heat has got through. So there's a litre. Remember, I put a litre into these bottles. So that one's still got, well, you can hear the ice inside. So that's about 450 ml out of the white one. Turn that around and we'll see what comes out of the black one. So that's 500, sorry, 600. So about, so 650 mils has come out of this one. Now I thought I put a litre in there, but I may have put 1200 mil in there because I don't think I realised that this was 600 mil. But anyway, 650 mil of water has come out of that. So we'll say that was 1200 mil that I've put in there. So 550 mil is left and of ice, and this one 450 mil has come out of that. So what's that? 750 mil. So a significant increase in melting out of the black one than what the white one is, and I pretty much anticipated that. So there's what's left of the block of ice from the white one, that one, and you can feel in the container, you can feel that it's significant. Oh, shit. significantly hotter. That container there is still quite warm. That one's quite cool. So that's the one out of the black. So anyway, I think that's a bit of a no-brainer. The lids, I'm not sure how insulated the lids of these things are. I'm not sure how much insulation's inside them, between the inner skin and the outer skin, or how that works, or how much is underneath. And it's really not about how fast the ice melts in either of them. It's about how much more one melts more than the other, and in this case, I don't know, it's probably pushing 50% more of the ice is melted in the black one is what melted in the white one, but they're the figures, 450 and 650 of water that came out of it. And so they are identical containers. The only difference is that one's black and one's white, and that's the point of my argument. And to put all this stuff into perspective, I really don't give a crap what colour caravan you buy. I'm not really interested in what other people buy. This is more of just the information that's worth considering when you go out and buy them. Being in possession of all this information, that black absorbs heat and it's going to penetrate at some point regardless of how hard you try, because these containers, to be fair, are designed to keep ambient temperature out. So on some level they're similar-ish to how a caravan works. Best to keep heat out in the summertime and keep heat in the winter time. But yes, if the colour black it is a better looking van to you than what the colour white one is, and you're prepared to sacrifice the downside in order to have that sweet looking van, then that's a question that you need to answer, not anybody else. I'm certainly not going to tell you what to buy, because at the end of the day I don't really care, and you shouldn't care about my opinions about what it is that you buy. It's just a matter of information is power. And if you've got more information in relation to what you're going to spend your money on, that's not a bad thing. It's always a good thing, because you can make informed choices. Anyway, there's the experiment. It kind of speaks for itself, and I hope you get some value out of it. This video was never meant to be about convincing anybody to pick a particular colour over another colour. It was just to highlight basically a known quantity, that dark colours attract heat or absorb heat, and white colours reflect heat. And anybody that's going to take that advice to the nth degree and buy a particular coloured van based on what some bloke who freezes a couple of water jugs full of water does is probably not really doing as much research of their own as what they probably should be. That's not going to take me buying two $40,000 boats, one black one and one white one, for most people to work out that a black boat on a sunny day is basically going to be unusable. The surfaces are going to be that hot that you can't touch them, and a black awning's going to absorb so much heat that standing underneath it in the sun's going to make everybody want to jump overboard. So anyway, taking what I'm doing and just adding it to the reserves of information that you've already gained for yourself, and applying them where applicable. That's all this video is, and I hope most people can see that that's where I'm coming from. If not, buy a black van. I don't care. Buy a white one. I don't really care about that either. It's not about that. It's about giving people information that's going to help them make decisions that are best for them.